Okay, so this morning I got a pretty cool experience, and then yesterday, was it yesterday? Or was it the day before? Well, anyway, it was either 2 days ago. But anyway, I got two good experiences. I mean, they weren't that good, but one of them had a really cool UFO in it this morning. But anyway, yeah, so it was like 2 days ago, and then this morning I got these two OBE-VR lucid dreams, and I think Joel gave them to me because I was asking for an experience, and he gave me, you know, an OBE lucid dream instead. But yeah, there's just too many characteristics because he's always like sticking me in a nasty bathroom, and so I do believe it was him that gave me both these experiences. But so I think I'll talk about the one this morning first. Okay, so let's see here. Why is this all messed up? So so it was kind of like in that same general area where I was in that other lucid dream, where the burger restaurant, the burger joint was, where in real life, Hobby Lobby is right there. Hobby Lobby, and it used to be a grocery store a long time ago. So in that lucid dream, I was put in that same general area, like in 3D, except I was under the lucid dream. And in this same, because the aliens are always repeating stuff. In this same OBE-VR lucid dream, I was in that same general area again, and I was in that grocery. Well, this time it was a grocery store, and not the burger joint. So and a long time ago, it was actually a grocery store. And Joel didn't tell me what the name of it was or whatever. Back then, it was called Consumers. So I was walking around a grocery store, and and they put me in that grocery store many times under OBE-VR lucid dream, millions of times. That exact grocery store too, that I'm just talking about. The one that's Hobby Lobby, that's been Hobby Lobby for many years. The grocery store closed up 20-something years ago. In real life, and then it became Hobby Lobby. But under the OBE-VR lucid dream, they still put me in that same building, and sometimes they'll still make it, the grocery store, even though it's not currently a grocery store. So this time I was under this OBE-VR lucid dream. I was walking around the grocery store, and there were these like free samples of these real gummy, doughy pieces of. They weren't pretzels, but it was kind of like almost like a uncooked little pretzel pieces, really soft dough. And in real life, well, I don't know, it's just really weird. In real life, my grandma made those really sweet, yeasty rolls. But why was it, between the age of like 3 to 9 maybe, I couldn't stand that bread. Well, specifically, I was age 4 or 5, and then my grandma would try to give me that bread, and I would like. Well, but when you're young like that, sometimes you're kind of picky anyway. I remember going through a real picky stage, but not that young. but so those rolls, I would like throw them like under the, I would hide them like under my foot or under the napkin. And then of course many years goes by, and then I start loving that kind of dough and bread, you know. I never liked rye or anything like that. I only liked sweet, yeasty, you know, sweet, yeasty, wheat gummy rolls, you know. And I even liked to eat the dough as I got older, you know, around 15 or 16 or whatever. And then I like gluten from then on, but it's just kind of funny that at age, you know, 3, 4, and 5, I totally couldn't stand that kind of bread or dough. You know, like maybe like my brain was trying to tell me something, you know what I'm saying? Or my body was trying to tell me something. Because now, you know, that had to be what's going on. It's like my psychic ability was telling me something. Because, you know, when you're young, you know how they always say, well, you know, you're kind of more psychic when you're real young like that. Because supposedly you're kind of born with celiac disease, but then it doesn't come out till way, way later sometimes. But anyway, yeah, so in the scenario, and it's happened like many times, I would, like the alien would make me repulsed by something. So I was like, I was walking, I walked around the store for a long time. I mean, looking at all the, you know, a lot of the shelves over there it was over there in the deli area. And under these scenarios, it feels so awesome. The energy and stuff feels so awesome. It totally feels like a different dimension. Does not ever feel like 3D at all. Totally feels like you're in a different dimension when you're under these lucid dreams. And it just has an awesome feeling about it. Except, like I say, when Joel gives me just the OBE-VRs, a lot of times those do feel like 3D. But under these OBE-VR lucid dreams, man, they have the most awesome energy, like you're in a different freaking dimension. And so so finally, after I started walking around back and forth, and I mean, I checked out the whole damn grocery store, and I don't remember actually like buying anything. I was just sampling the little bread dough, the little chunks of they were long, like 4 inches long, and I picked them up and I started eating them. But this was really weird. In the scenario, I knew that I could eat it because it was actually like almond. It was like almond flour. But when I ate it, I'm like, it still exactly tasted like, you know, the wheat gummy sweet rolls like I used to eat when I was 3, 4, 5 years old. But like I say, I love that dough and stuff from age 15 on, but not when I was 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, in real life. And so in the scenario, I was like trying to eat it, and it repulsed me because it tasted like the sweet, you know, yeasty rolls, the wheat rolls that I used to eat when I was younger. You know, like when I was little, and I had all those thoughts when I was like eating the dough, even though I knew it was almond flour, you know, dough. And so I started, you know, like checking out and tasting the, you know, those little free samples of the bread and stuff. And then after that, and like I said, I walked around the grocery store for a long time. After that, I went outside, and it was dark time. And then I started walking to the left, which in real life, that would be on the way to where service merchandise used to be. And this scenario, it was on the way to the DMV. And so you had the grocery store in this whole shopping center. The grocery store is way to the right, and then as you walk to the left is service merchandise. That was in real life. It was service merchandise. But in the scenario, it was the DMV. And then I met up with this guy. This guy started walking with me like a friend. And I kind of feel like he was, Joel was trying to copy off like one of my sister's ex-boyfriends or something. It kind of looked like him, but not exactly. Except this guy was kind of bigger. And he kind of looked like he was foreign, kind of semi-American, semi-Korean or something like that. Or Hispanic or something. Kind of had dark hair. And I started talking to him about wheat and stuff and food allergies and stuff. And I think there was some other stuff we were talking about. And then eventually you know, like he was like supposed to. Oh yeah, like we were supposed to go. Like I was supposed to go try to find my car, and after I went to the DMV and I walked back out, he was gone. Like he just disappeared, and I was still like trying to find my car or whatever. But at first he seemed like he was like my friend or whatever, and then he just disappears on me. You know what I mean? The alien Joel is always doing this. Well, if it was Joel that gave me this experience, which I believe it was, because I was asking for him to give me an experience, he just gave me a lucid dream instead. And but this was the most coolest part though. Okay, so after we were walking outside and walking along to the DMV, I looked up in the sky, and at least this part of the scenario, I did not know I was dreaming. I think maybe I did when I was in the grocery store and stuff. But in this particular part, I didn't know I was dreaming. And when I looked up at the sky, there was this ball of beautiful. It was like a UFO, but it was this ball, orangey coral ball. Like, you know, from a distance, of course, it looked like it was as big as a basketball. And it was way up in the sky, and it was dark outside. And then, okay, you would not believe it was like the most beautiful thing. And I had my camera on me under the scenario. And it was just kind of flickering and rotating, you know. It wasn't like just still. It was like, you know, and it was just floating or whatever. And then all these little like lights shot out from it, and then it turned into a big circle UFO with all these different lights all around it, these different colors like green, blue, yellow, red. And then, you know, all the lights started going in circles around the UFO. But that was like the most beautiful thing. And I was like, oh my God, I need to try to take a picture. And then I fiddled around in my pocket, and then I couldn't get my camera out of my pocket. And then, of course, when I looked up, it was gone. But that was the most beautiful thing in the world. And of course, this was under altered state. But that was the most beautiful thing in the world. How it, like all these lights kind of shot out from the orange coral light or whatever, the globe of light. And then it turned into a bigger circle, it was a UFO, a bigger circle, you know, a disc UFO with all these colorful lights all around it, and they were, you know, like rotating the lights, and that was the most beautiful thing ever. And I know what Joel was copying from. He was copying from. They sort of showed some UFOs kind of like that on that documentary I was watching on Amazon. What was that first one I watched? Well, I'm not done with the second one. Second one's Unacknowledged or something like that. The first one was called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind or something like that. So I know Joel was copying off of that, but that was like the most beautiful thing. And like I said, I didn't know I was dreaming. I really thought that I was, you know, looking up and seeing this UFO in 3D. But that was the most beautiful, like, UFO probably that I've seen under my altered state. Because it had all the bright lights. Different color of lights, too. Every single one of them was different color. You know, it wasn't like pastel. Is that what it's called? Pastel colors or whatever. It was like, you know, green, yellow, blue, red. And it was like so cool. And so then, okay, so then, like I say, he was walking along with me down the shopping center over to the left. We just kept walking. And like I said, when I got out of the DMV, he disappeared. He was supposed to like wait on me, but he didn't. He disappeared. Okay, when I walked into the DMV, so I walked into the DMV, and then there was a table right there, and the lady there was only one worker, and it was that one lady that worked behind the counter, the desk. Or actually, she was at the desk, and she was a black woman, and she was a light-skinned black woman, and she had glasses on, and she looked kind of studious, and she looked familiar to me. Of course, now I can't think of who she was, but in the scenario, she looked very familiar to me. And I was like, wow, you know, I was thinking in my head, she had been there, 30 years already. Like I knew that I was like, wow, it's the same woman that's always working in there. Like, I knew she had to have been working there for 30 years already. Because, you know, in the scenario, every time I would go in there, it would be her. And so I was thinking all those thoughts and stuff. And, well, that's because the aliens know that I know some employees that's been working for 33 years and stuff. So Joel put that in there. But yeah, and I think, as far as I remember, I did kind of talk to her a little bit, but I can't remember what I said. And I can't remember what she told me. But anyway, but I knew she had been working there for a long time. And then, so I had to go pee-pee. So then I went off, back behind her somewhere was the bathroom. And it was just like a one-person bathroom. And I went into the bathroom. And, okay, let me just see if I'm forgetting any parts. And I don't think I'm sure I'm forgetting a little bit. But anyway, the grocery store, you know, I walked up and down that grocery store a long time and down a bunch of aisles. I was looking at a bunch of food products, blah, 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 blah. You know, it wasn't just, you know, in my scenarios, I mean, I'm literally like just doing mundane stuff, just like what I would do in real life. You know what I mean? It's not like quick little snips of images that I'm seeing, you know, go across me or something. I'm actually in the whole this whole scenario, you know, like walking around, OBE. I don't know if some people just dream like what I just mentioned. I don't know if some people dream like that, but it seems like they probably do, because nobody acts like they have experiences like I do or whatever. Well, that's just because their brain isn't opened up. But anyway, yeah, that lasted a long time, me shopping in that damn store. But anyway, so I found the bathroom like behind her. It wasn't too far behind her. And like I say, in real life, it used to be service merchandise, but in the scenario, it was the DMV. And so I go into the bathroom, and okay, like, this is funny, but and I actually sat down. Well, no, I didn't. I was almost gonna sit down on the pot, but it was all nasty and pee was everywhere. And there was like pee all over the floor, and I was trying not to step in it. And okay, no, let me think real quick, because this was kind of funny and important. And that's how I know that it was Joel that gave me this experience. And he does well, some people call it like mind control, you know, because like they can show you a dildo or something, and then, but yet in the scenario, if they tell you that that's a strawberry, you're going to think it's a strawberry, even though you're looking at a dildo. And then when you wake up in 3D, you're like, wow, that wasn't a strawberry, that was a dildo. They could do that, and he's done stuff like that before. And okay, so anyway, this part was funny. Okay, so as I was observing the bathroom, which was totally like fucking nasty. The bathroom was nasty, okay, but here's where the mind control comes in. Because Joel was making me think that it wasn't very dirty. And so here's what I told myself in the scenario when I was in the bathroom. I was like, wow, this isn't even nearly as dirty as most, of the other bathrooms that the aliens and Joel would put me in. I was thinking that in the scenario. I was like, wow, this isn't nearly as dirty as what the aliens and Joel had put me in before. And then, of course, after I woke up and everything, I realized how fucking nasty that bathroom was. You know what I'm saying? And I was like trying to dodge, stepping in the piss. And by the way, it did seem like I was barefoot, and that's not the first time they put me barefoot in scenarios either. And like I say, and I actually, as far as I remember, I actually kind of pee-peed and everything. And but I didn't sit on the toilet. And in real life, if I have to go to the bathroom in public, I don't sit on the toilet. And but normally I just always hold it till I get home. But yeah, so I actually was, like leaning down and like trying to pee and everything. And but I wasn't sitting on the toilet. I mean, I wouldn't sit on the toilet because there was pee everywhere, pee all over the floor. And but yeah, that's where the mind control came in, because Joel told me that it wasn't very dirty, and it was. And so in the scenario, I really thought that it wasn't that nasty or skanky, even though I was trying to avoid the piss and stuff. Okay, that was the first experience. I probably wouldn't even have talked about it if it wasn't for the awesome UFO. But but yeah, that was a typical lucid dream where it totally feels like you're in a different dimension. The energy is like awesome because it feels nothing like 3D. 3D feels like fucking shit compared to all my lucid dreams. And okay, so the second scenario, which actually I had the second scenario first because I had this one 2 days ago. I mean, the one that I just talked about, I had this morning. This other one I had, well, it was either yesterday morning or 2 days ago. I can't remember. But it was either yesterday morning or 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago, so that would make it Wednesday. Yeah. So the one I'm about to talk about, I had it on Wednesday, and then this experience I just talked about in the grocery store was on Friday morning, which is today, Friday morning. And okay, hold on, I gotta drink some water. But yeah, that UFO was just freaking beautiful. And like I said, I really thought it was real. I did not know I was dreaming, and I wanted to take a picture of it so bad. But I'll go outside and meditate. Well, not meditate, but I'll go outside and talk to the aliens, and I'll get me some good shit eventually outside. I'll ask them to try to give me like to show me a UFO, whatever kind of UFO, colorful or whatever, and I'll snap a picture. Because I know all these like dumbass people that act like you gotta go to Joshua Tree, wherever that is. Joshua Tree or desert, the high desert, whatever it's called, in Arizona or Nevada, and call on the aliens when they're every fucking where. You know what I mean? I mean, look at all the shit I get, and I don't fucking even leave 1 inch out of my house. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but anyway, okay, so this, okay, hold on, let me think about it for a few seconds real quick. Okay, hold on. Yeah, see, if I waited too much longer, I'm going to start forgetting some little bits and pieces. Okay, hold on, I'm thinking of it. Okay, and I also was talking to Joel to give me an experience, and this is what I got, and I do believe Joel gave me the experience, and I'm also wondering if he kind of like instead of him making some virtual reality person like smooch on me and stuff, I kind of sense that maybe it actually was him, so to speak, but he was posing as that older dude, older, tall, old man. But anyway, okay, so basically, and I know Joel gave me this one, and like I said, I do believe he gave me the one this morning too. I know Joel gave me this one because there was, another pattern. He put me in this, actually, and that's not the first time he's done that. Well, I mean, that could have been another alien, but I had been in a, actually, no, that other scenario, it was like a, I can't remember what I called it, but it was like a demon. It was like an Illuminati mansion or demon mansion or something where a demon lived or whatever, and he tried to and like I say, at the time, I didn't know Joel was giving me all these experiences. That could have been Joel that gave me that experience, but I don't know if I gave him credit for it. But in this scenario, I do believe Joel gave it to me. And like I say, both scenarios, I was asking Joel to give me an experience. And this one, I do believe he gave it to me. So basically, he puts me in an Illuminati mansion. Illuminati Freemason mansion. They're all a bunch of Illuminati people. Okay, so actually, the man or men that own the mansion, I never did see the owners. I actually never did see. I don't know what they look like. The Illuminati men, Freemason people that actually own this mansion. But I just saw one. I saw one chef and one of the attendees, one of the Illuminati men that frequents the mansion. And so basically, this is what Joe places me in. and basically and okay, I'm probably gonna forget some parts, but like basically, I was roaming around the whole like dining room area, and it was pretty damn big, and it was filled full of tables, and there was this other funny part too, where like some of the, well, okay, so a lot of the people that were in that mansion, it was like me and a whole bunch of other people. We were like, okay, we were all an enlightened group of people, and somehow that's why we were targeted to go to that mansion. We were all enlightened, blah, 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 blah. And there was a lot of women, a lot of men. It was probably equal. 50% men, 50% women. And we were all probably, 20 to 50 or whatever. And it was just, like equal men, equal women. And at one point I was walking around, and I went up to a little table, and they gave me a big scoop of Rocky Road ice cream. And I started licking it, and the whole thing like fell on the floor. And I went ahead and picked it up, and I was afraid to eat it, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go wash it off. I'm not gonna waste this big old scoop of Rocky Road ice cream. So I went and washed it off like in the bathroom, and I proceeded to eat it. And at that point, there was this young woman, like 25, 28, 29, with blonde, long hair. She came out of the stall, and she had, like the aliens, they're like perverts. She did like number 2 and stuff, and I could like smell it and stuff. And I was like, man, I need to get out of the bathroom. But anyway, she was real nice, and I talked to her, and she talked to me, and I can't remember what I said, but I did say like, like I'm eating my ice cream, blah, 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 and I'm washing it off because of one of my big scoops, fell on the floor. And so that was kind of funny, but I can't remember all the other words and stuff that we said or whatever. Okay, so that was one part of the scenario. And like I said, there's the bathroom again. Joel is obsessed with bathrooms and stuff, and a bunch of other aliens are obsessed with hanging out in bathrooms and shit. Okay, so but that was kind of funny. I mean, it didn't smell like bad. It just smelled like normal. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so that part was virtual reality basically. And as far as when I tasted the ice cream, I can't remember if I actually tasted it or not. So that part wasn't very virtual reality, but. When you smell stuff, eat stuff, and taste it and smell stuff, that's all virtual reality. Okay, so, and like I say, so all of us that were there, except for the owners and that one patron that was actually Illuminati member, all of us enlightened people, it's like we were their bitches, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? But there wasn't any sex or anything in it, surprisingly. But it's just like they were gonna do like what they wanted to, you know what I mean? Like, just use our abilities or whatever abilities we had or whatever. But not necessarily like use us as sex objects or anything, but just use us as bitches if they wanted to, or just use us however they wanted to, like psychic abilities or whatever. And okay. So then, so then I started walking around the dining room again, and like I say, there was tons and tons of tables, and then all of a sudden my mom pops into the scene, and we were about to eat dinner, and then like all the tables were everywhere, tons of tables, I mean a lot of tables, and everybody was, I mean there was, 2, 3, 4, 5 people at every single table. And me and my mom didn't have anywhere to sit. And here's the other funny part. Okay, in this Illuminati mansion, they basically had an Olive Garden. Like, this is funny because I did just have Olive Garden on the brain like a day before this experience. And like the whole okay. So pretend like I'm kind of in the middle of the dining room, facing north. Way over to the left, way down a pretty long hallway, was the big, what do you call it? Kitchen. And like I say, in the middle there, I was standing in the dining room with all these tables. Back behind me, that's where the bathroom was and where I went walking around to get the ice cream and stuff. Okay, so I was facing my mom, and I was like, where are we gonna sit? And then all of a sudden, everybody was done eating, and I went around and looked at the tables, and there was like those big old bowls of salad. I mean, they looked so good and fresh, and then people had big old bowls of like Alfredo and stuff, and it looked so good and fresh and everything. And I knew that it wasn't like the typical Olive Garden food. It was like more organic and fresh and blah 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 blah. And but it was, and I don't know if the kitchen served anything else, but in the scenario, it was basically, at this particular time in the scenario, it was all Olive Garden. And so then, and so everybody was done eating, and me and my mom are standing around, with thumbs up our butts, and we didn't get to eat yet, you know what I'm saying? Well, we didn't really have our thumb up our butt, but we didn't get to eat yet. So then I started walking down the hallway, and I met up with a chef. He had kind of short, dark hair. He looked about 30 years old. And I stopped him, and he did have some like white on, like a white, what do you call it? White, robe or whatever on, apron or whatever. He had an apron on or whatever. And I can't remember if he had a little hat on or not, like a little chef hat or whatever. But I stopped him, and I'm like, hey, we didn't get to eat yet. And he's like, well, okay, go ahead and tell me your order. What do you want? And I said, I want that big old bowl of salad, and that I wanted a big old bowl of like chicken Alfredo. And he's like, okay, well, let me go get it for you. And that was the end of that. We never did actually, sit down and eat or whatever. But anyway, he was going to go get all that for us because we didn't really get a chance to eat because we procrastinated.